Okay, welcome back to the Rock and Roll channel. And I guess you can call us a pop-up episode. That's why I didn't say anything on X today or anywhere. But with this guy, you always have to be ready at any given time. And so I'm really stoked to have my dear friend, close friend of 16 years now, 15, 16 years.
It's been a while.
Since Jimbo's first year.
Jimbo and James Coley and Damian Craig.
Right, Jimbo's first year in Tallahassee. I mean, excuse me, not Tallahassee, as head coach.
Yep.
My friend Elvis Anderson.
What's up, Ivans? Thanks for having me, man.
My pleasure.
Wow, it's an honor.
My honor. I know it's the Noel talk here and everything, but I'm in Panther mode. So, list a little description about him. He asked me to discuss some things. So yes, he is known. If you've ever seen World's Best Golf Destinations on YouTube or anywhere, he's the man behind that because he's a golf aficionado. He's wrote for the Miami New Times, the Dallas Chronicle.
Dallas Observer,
sorry.
We're a cousin independent weekly to the Miami New Times. Yeah.
There you go. They're sister. Yes.
Yep.
And he's out on work at FSU for the FSU because he is a true Knoll, class of 2003. Off the record and on the record, he is some of the most intense and best football talks I have over the last 15 years are with this guy. Wow, I always know when I see his name on the caller ID, you have to bring your A game when I talk football with him.
That's high praise coming from you, Ivans. I really appreciate that. Hey, and before we get started, man, first, I want to say it's a huge honor to be here. I mean, you could have had, Bud Elliott or Ira Schofel or somebody who actually has some real information and knowledge. But, you're launching the channel. You're pushing the vlog. I love it. I respect it, man. I'm so happy and I'm so honored to be here to help support independent media. You're the man, and I'm a big fan. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Oh, I thank you, man. It's my pleasure to have you because I decided early on when I did this, I would rather have someone that I can have a real conversation with, regardless of stature, than someone who might have more of a name but isn't going to really talk much.
Sure.
So with you, I know I'm going to have great conversations. I mean, I go hang out with him in Dallas. He used to live in Miami near me, so we would watch football together every Saturday, him and I. Yeah. Before he moved back home to Texas.
I don't have any bosses that I can piss off, so I can say whatever I want to about Florida State.
Yes, you can keep as long as you keep it clean. It's my rule is be as brutally honest, and you know me in our texts. I don't hold back.
Hey, can we go back to when you and I met? Because that was
absolutely.
A really special time in Florida State football history, right?
Yes.
Obviously we had a really a rough situation with Bobby that still hurts. At
the end,
I kind of wish he gotten what he wanted, which was one more year. However, in hindsight, it proved to probably be the best decision to bring in Jimbo at that time. But you and I were there, right? Because Miami was really important to that coaching staff.
Yes.
And I don't know if you remember the event with James Coley, and he's obviously a Miami guy, and he came down, and it was a small room, and he came in with so much energy, and you could tell quickly these guys were not messing around, and they had big dreams, big goals, and they were focused on winning and winning now. So it was a really cool time that you and I actually
it was met. And like we caught it at the right time with that staff.
Yeah.
In 2010, because these guys were relentless. You had Al Golden at Miami, who was not known for his recruiting chops. Yes. And then you had Urban on the decline at Florida.
Yeah.
So that staff pounced on it at the right time.
Yeah.
They made certain areas a priority that weren't done before. I mean, we could talk 2010. We got a few guys in that time frame that we wouldn't have got James Wilder Jr., Timmy Jernigan are never Knowles.
Right.
If it's not for Jimbo Fisher. Wow. Now, who knows if Urban stays, maybe Timmy still goes there.
Yep.
We don't know. I mean, James Wilder grew up a Gator too.
Okay.
And we don't know what was behind the scenes if he was told. We don't know. We got some guys that we weren't supposed to get before.
That's right. Yeah.
That was a no-star recruit.
Oh, Rashad Green.
Rashad Green was a big recruit.
Big recruit, St. Thomas
Yeah,
Aquinas.
yeah,
Who did you say?
Devonta Freeman in that
Oh,
class.
Devontae Freeman.
And
Nice.
they'll start. He didn't
Miami
start until
Central.
his senior year, and they happened to catch him at a spring game or something. And
Yeah.
they were like, "This kid's good."
Yeah.
And
Wow, what a player! But man, that
Bjorn
coaching
Warner
staff.
too.
What's that?
Bjorn Warner, nobody really knew about.
Yeah. Wow. Come on, hey man, come on. You know,
I know that's special, and we can get into that later. But
a couple hours on the.
Yeah, it was a special time. 2010. It was like
Yeah.
we were sad Bobby was gone, but the cool thing was that Jimbo had been there for 3 years before he took over.
Right.
So he ingratiated himself with the Knoll community, the fan base. We knew it was on the up and up with him.
Yep.
He was relentless in recruiting, which we hadn't been before.
Yeah. Yep.
And people like change.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this, that after Bobby left, we never even had a nutritionist on the team.
Really?
Yeah. It was Jimbo's like, yeah, we're going to need one of those. So, and then we had gone to his event in Doral in Miami, and we were sold on Jimbo. So that was just a fun time.
It was a fun
Beat
time.
Our rivals for the first time in a while. The Clemson game at Burger and Beer Joint in Miami, where Hopkins kicked the game winner.
Yeah.
And the place just went nuts. Our watch parties were the next best thing to going to a game.
Yeah.
In its prime.
Yeah, no doubt. You and I were big fans of Red Bar.
Yes, and then because that was the Burger and Beer Joint, that was their first year, and they didn't have the room ready for us.
Yeah,
that was like our temporary place. And
you look back when Jimbo came in, and we had EJ. We were good, but we kind of got tested and kind of beat up by OU twice, right? Because we just weren't there yet. Yeah. But we were climbing,
The second time was a whole lot different than the first.
No doubt, right. But you could see that we were doing the right things, and that staff's hard work was paying off. And then, of course, when EJ left and we had a freshman from Alabama come in, everything changed, right? So.
But we were watching the recruiting.
Yeah, right.
We were recruiting at an elite level.
Yeah.
I mean, the 5 stars, everything we knew, and that was different time in college football. We can get into how things have changed, but we knew, man, all right, we're building a roster.
Right. But no, I mean, as far as things are going right now with the Florida State Athletic Department, I mean, men's golf primed to win a national championship.
Softball.
Women's golf just finished top 4. Softball killing it. Baseball looking pretty good. I mean, everything's perfect, right?
And we have an administration and athletic department that really wants to invest in sports.
Hey, no problems, really.
We did that with Jimbo. I don't want to say on the cheap because they raised their budget for him because Bobby was done on the cheap, but we never spend a fraction of what we spend now. And I know it's the market now in college football, but we really invest. I mean, look at have you seen the rendering of the new lacrosse state facility?
Lacrosse?
Lacrosse is getting a sick new facility. So,
ACC lacrosse?
I don't think it's women's lacrosse. They're getting a team.
Okay.
Because the men's team is still a club.
Oh, wow. We're building a facility for the club team?
Yeah, that's why some people were livid. I mean, the comments on X the other day, I won't even repeat some of them.
Yeah.
But we're investing in sports.
Oh. So everything's good, right? Everything's great. No problems.
No. Oh, yeah. No, listen, football tries to ship, man. If football's bad, we don't care about the other stuff.
Oh, football.
Which we're going to get into. So that was a perfect segue.
You're telling me we have some problems with the football program.
Based on last season, I would say yes. Coming off our worst season ever. Don't say. That's one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on because we have some great talks over the phone, and I said, let's bring it to the masses.
Yeah, sure.
Or the 5 people who watch, however many watch it, as many or as little that watch it.
My mom, your mom, a couple of our friends. That's everybody. All we need.
Yeah, exactly. But the funny thing about me and your dynamic is in a group text, you and I butt heads all the time. Second we get on the phone, we agree on every point, which is it's a fun deal with you. But one of the reasons I wanted to call you on, have you come on is I've been outspoken about Norvell, and I think I've calmed down a little bit.
Yeah.
Your fellow Dallas brethren, for those who don't know, Elvis is a true Texas guy.
That's right.
From Dallas, hometown of Mike Norvell, and that's all. I'm just joking there. He doesn't just root for Mike and support Mike because he's from Dallas. But that being said, after last year and the current state we're in, based on the coaching staff, everything, what's your take on Norvell? If is he still the guy? Is he not the guy? Are we just is he walking with a target on him?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I think he deserves an opportunity to fix his mess. But when we look at some of the problems and we look at some of the mistakes, and now it seems to be kind of a common thing where Norvell and the staff are not good recruiters, and are not good high school recruiters. And when you look at that, it's kind of concerning, right? Because isn't recruiting just an effort game? I mean, this staff,
yes, it used to be.
Norvell in particular, has shown that he can sign big players, right? Like in the portal, Jermaine Johnson, and and all the guys that we and Keon and stuff. He had to sell the program to those guys and was able to do it. But where is the problem at the high school level? If it's effort and a lack of effort, that's real concerning.
It is. He's prioritized the portal over high school.
That's a problem.
And that bit us this year.
And another major problem that I had with, particularly last year. I mean, there's so many, but the old back in the day, the two things that a coach would do to a team that kind of quit or was disinterested is, you might kick your best player off the team, right? You've got one of your better players is dogging it, doesn't seem to care, maybe already has his foot out the door. Hello, I think that's what happened, right? With the defensive end who's now at LSU. Kick them out. Why didn't we kick anybody off the team last year? If you have people who seem like they don't care or don't really want to be there, send a message, kick somebody off the team. Didn't happen.
I heard stories, and I'm not saying it's the complete gospel, but it makes sense, is that there were a lot of guys that, I hate to use the word dead weight, but hadn't contributed, that we could have nicely pushed aside, got better players over. Those players begged to stay. And Mike, ran through hoops to get them, to keep them there. Yeah. With Battle's End, with people. And I think Mike got bit in the backside last year with loyalty to coaches and players.
Possibly, but I think it's
kicking off Jalen Brown. You kicked off Jalen Brown.
Well,
he got in trouble. I understand. But if this was last year, he would have been like, oh, he's a good kid. It was one time. Yeah. He's my third receiver. He's my, so.
I think I
was concerned with Biscuit, because Mike had kind of made it clear he wasn't going to beg guys to stay. And he would basically give a guy a spring. If he had to tell a guy to leave, he would. Yeah. And Biscuit comes back, leaves to go to the portal, and now magically is back. Yeah. And I know they have a relationship. I understand, but that was concerning.
Yeah. The tight end?
The tight end, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was over. I don't know what it was over. I didn't like seeing that. I'm like, you've left the team twice now.
It's so strange.
Yeah.
But I guess that's.
You've been back for 3 months and now you still don't like go, man.
It's nonstop strange things happening in college football right now. Yeah. It's funny. I was talking to a couple of, because I wonder sometime, maybe I'm just, I'm in my 40s. I'm like old, get off my lawn guy, right? I'm just kind of angry at the world. But I was talking to a couple of guys who are in school, one at OU, one at University of Tennessee. We were on the golf course. And, these kids are like 21. They're in school right now. And even they said that college football is screwed up and insane, and what the hell is the portal? And
they go to class, they see these kids drive their Benz.
Yeah.
Don't pay for a class. Don't pay for a textbook.
Yeah.
And you got some kids in colleges that are working 2-3 jobs too.
Yeah.
And those kids didn't care when they were on just scholarship.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, you're playing football, you deserve a scholarship. Right. But now they're getting the scholarship plus all these. It doesn't.
The sport
And
was
then
better.
where's the loyalty? Like, we got to know these guys when they were at
Yeah.
Florida State because they were there 3, 4, 5 years.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
these kids can be here for 3 months.
Yeah.
Where's the fan report? I mean,
yeah.
they're at a crisis right now, college football. You hope it can get fixed.
Yeah, no doubt. But obviously, we'll still love it and we'll bitch about it until it's resolved. But it obviously is a very interesting time where all kinds of very odd things are happening on a regular basis. But we'll still keep putting on our colors. Putting on
I mean, listen, I still love my Knowles. I'm gonna listen. Mike is not gonna not be our coach between now and Bama unless something insane happens.
Right.
Me, and I've ripped him privately to you a few times. I won't deny that.
Yeah.
I don't say ripped him. I've expressed my concerns more.
Yeah.
And I'll say it. I don't know if last season broke him. Not the 2-10, the snub. Because he sure handled it poorly.
We've seen what happens when a coach is broken.
Yes. We won't go into why, but yes, we've seen it.
Not going to go into the details.
Motivated to fix it because he loves Florida State. He does not. A friend of mine who was on my show last week said, "Man, if he gets fired from Florida State, he's not going to exactly wind up at a big time Power 5 school as a head coach."
That's a good point. Yeah, he's going to go back to a Middle Tennessee Tech. Yeah,
he's going to go to like a Tulsa or a school he doesn't probably want to be at as much.
Yeah,
money aside.
Right.
And listen, he also made another good point, Sporadics. Mike still wants to work his way up in the coaching world.
Sure.
I mean, you should always be thinking that way. He gets fired, man. He has another bad year, man. He's not exactly going to be a hot commodity.
Well, I always felt that Mike had to know that Florida State's place in big boy football, Big Ten, SEC, was certain, right? Or he would have taken the Alabama job. You talk about, Mike wants to, improve his career. Well, I think it would seem that he had a chance to take the number one job in the sport.
I mean, improve his career in the sense of winning.
Legacy, record.
Legacy, winning, stuff he values.
Yeah.
Not just, I want to work my way up. He doesn't see Florida State as a stepping stone to a better job.
Sure. But do you
were
agree with that?
Starting to become that because we're paying big boy money for head coaches now.
Sure. Yeah.
For a while, we were paying half the price, and there were many schools that were double.
Yeah.
You become a stepping stone then.
Right.
So, I mean, I was at his event a couple weeks ago, and I don't think I told you this. He made a point about how special Florida State is to him. And he said, unless you don't understand this place unless you went here, played here, coached here. People can say whatever they want about this place. You don't understand it. And he's saying the stuff to get the fan base happy and yada, yada. I get it. Mike's good at that.
Yeah.
But I think he wants to be here for 3, 4, 5 more years.
Right.
It's not like he's like, well, I don't want to get fired or I'm screwed. It's like he knows he's on the hot seat, man.
Yeah.
I heard someone said that they overheard him at a practice say one day, you think I don't know that?
I just went 2-10.
I just went 2-10. And they forced me to fire some people I didn't want to fire. So
I literally was last place in the ACC.
Lost to Duke. Nothing, as Jeff Cameron said, nothing's sacred anymore.
Yeah.
He's our coach now. I might as well support him. Excuse me. Go Noles. Okay. So
bless you.
I may be critical, but it's disappointing where we're at in year 6. Roster-wise, expectation-wise. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm saying this to you now, on air, off air, text, no text, phone, whatever. You know how I am. If we lose a close game to Bama, I'm not playing the moral victory card.
Right. So we can say without hesitation at this point that Mike Norvell is in year 6 and he has failed to build a sustainable, rock-solid football program at Florida State.
Yeah, we built
the deal.
Short term.
That's where we're at.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And we had a chance to really pounce on a situation when Miami changed coaches, when Florida changed coaches, that Jimbo did. Jimbo really separated himself when Urban left, when Al Golden got fired.
Yeah.
All those people.
Yeah.
He really pounced on that.
Yeah.
Man, this was like coming like Jimbo Fisher appreciation show. But Mike didn't capitalize on that.
Hey, the Jimbo at his best. There was a lot to like there.
I agree. It is some. Right now, Willie Taggart's had 2 better years than Mike did last year. But yeah, and we talked about that, you and I, saying, man, we had a golden opportunity. And another good friend of ours who is huge into recruiting saying we should be pouncing on this situation.
Willie, yeah, failed to leap, failed to take advantage of opportunity there. Kind of crazy.
We didn't. And I remember saying this is going to hurt us. And I understand it's a different time in recruiting. Listen, Mike would be Mike's built to recruit if there's no NIL. If recruiting is what it used to be, just about relationships and communicating, Mike's great at that. Yeah. How many kids have said, "Oh, I loved Coach Norvell when I got to know him"?
I don't understand. So in 2025, you should run your recruiting operation like a high-powered, Fortune 500 sales operation, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we have to make this many we have to make this many contacts. We have to make this many calls. We have to make this many emails.
We have to make this much money work.
Send this much mail. Like, we just bring in like the world's greatest sales director and hire him to run the recruiting, relationship strategy. Because apparently we're not good at, tapping people on the shoulder and saying, hey, come to Florida State, right? I mean, even Irish O'Fell was pissed off about the situation with
we can talk about that.
Yeah.
He's like the last straw in the world of media to like let loose, because Ira's always a glass half full guy, doesn't like to badmouth or talk negatively. That's just
right. It appears we have
he'll maybe do it in columns in a certain way in writing, but not like verbally on a YouTube show. And he did that day. The guy who was on my show last week, who is like tied into recruiting in a way, I guess, said there could be a reason why they didn't push for that guy from Thomasville. You're 2-10. You cannot be that selective.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah. So, all right. So you got to take chances. And apparently Thomasville is about to go on a run for the next 3, 4, 5 years. They're set up to be a powerhouse there. I guess because in Georgia, things go in cycles.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, there were a few times Jimbo took a kid that he didn't love, but he knew that school would be fruitful to him.
Pay it forward.
Develop
a relationship. Right. Establish a relationship.
Mike doesn't get that.
Yeah, but maybe Mike was doing that with, with earlier. Actually, early, I think they were trying to get him, make him a player. Just apparently didn't work out. But obviously the tight end, 2 kids from Duncanville, because I think maybe Mike was trying to. Maybe that was part of his strategy there. We'll see if it works, but it doesn't look like we've gotten any more kids from Duncanville. So I guess it's not working. They are the preeminent powerhouse program in Texas. One of the top 5, top 10 for sure in the country. We've picked up a couple.
And you got Sperry, who they're high on. Sure, I'll have to owe you an apology if he pans out.
We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, I've heard good things about the kid. That's all you can ask for. Young man. Odell Higgins would get mad at me if you heard me say kid.
Got a pretty good quarterback out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area once upon a time. A guy that was really important to the program.
I couldn't agree more. Texas is an area you want to be in. Yeah, I completely agree. So yeah, I have my doubts about Mike. The guy I'm excited about is Tony White.
Yeah, and I see that you're really high on this guy.
I am high on him. I could end up being wrong. I just think he's an incredible football mind, a motivator. He seems like the type of guy players run through a wall for.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, I kind of like my defensive coordinators like Mickey Andrews. I don't know if I get that. I don't see a whole lot of Mickey and Tony White, but I guess we'll see, right?
I don't care. Tony's not going to like curse somebody out like Mickey would, but who knows? Maybe a lot of people just won't like his scheme, but if it works, they won't care.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
But I've heard it's football. I'm watching him I hate to say this, and this is terrible to say. I'm watching him as a potential head coach for us this year.
Okay. Wow.
I want him to be the next head coach. Like I did when Jimbo came.
Yeah.
I saw Jimbo's like first press conferences, and I'm like, that's our next head coach. We didn't know each other.
Head coach in waiting.
I knew it. I just even before that, like his first press conference, I said, "This guy's a head coach. He's past coordinator stuff. The way he talks, the way he carries himself. Tony's like that too."
Yeah. Well, if this doesn't work out, Mike, hey, we got this guy.
But these guys know too they're in a bad situation if Mike fails this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would imagine they didn't come to Florida State with a guarantee. If you're going to be here 2-3 years, don't worry, we'll give you time. Mike goes 6-6, he's done.
A wild situation, man.
Because I had explained to one of our friends, someone said, 6-6, and I explained, well, you have 2 guaranteed wins this year.
Right.
That means you in the next other 10 games, you win 4-6.
So what's an acceptable, reasonable outcome for the season this year as far as you're concerned?
I mean, I'm not good at putting the wins and losses because I always say it's who you beat, who you lost to, how you did doing it. 6-7 wins could look a lot different if you're beating Miami, Florida, and Clemson, let's say, versus 9 wins, but you lost to your 3 rivals.
Yep.
That means you won all your games you were favored in and lost all your games that you're underdogs in.
Right.
I don't know. What's yours? You're better at that stuff than me.
I mean, my measure, it typically comes down to I could even deal. We played 12 games. Is that right? 12. I could even deal with 8-4 if we're tough, if we hit through the echo of the whistle. If we're nasty, if we compete, maybe we lose some tough games because we're not that talented and we have some problems, but we fight and we're into football and I think the win-loss record, can fluctuate a bit, but it's all about, the effort and just kind of how it looks, right? Do these guys show signs of promise next year? And because last year we had a team that didn't even want to be out there. They didn't even want to play football. Yeah. They didn't even want to play football.
It's sad like we ripped the media for praising this team so much going into the year. And I was one of them too who did it. But that team was designed to be amazing in the gym. And everything but the game.
Running back at North Carolina. You let the running back at North Carolina put like 250 on us. He could have had. That was
the one game last year. I would say the only game last year where the defense legitimately just threw in the towel second half.
Yeah, they didn't want to be there.
Every game, I can't say they did that, but that game, the whole team quit, and that's when I was done with Mike.
Yeah,
because it's one thing if you're still fighting and you're losing, it's like, all right, we can somewhat build on that, but when you quit, then we got problems, and they did quit. In that game.
Right.
They didn't after that, so who knows? Listen, this is a show me year with Mike. Yeah, 8-4 is our ceiling.
It's unbelievable.
That means you've won at least 1 or 2 of your toughest games.
Yeah,
because your 4 games, you're for sure you're going to. You're not favored in is Alabama, Clemson, Miami, Florida. You go 8-4, you're probably winning 2 of those.
Yeah.
Unless you just did horrible in some games you expected to win. Like going to NC State, going to Virginia doesn't make me feel great.
No.
Something about going there. Going to Raleigh on a Friday night is just
never good.
Never a good thing.
Never a good thing for the Noles.
But it's crazy. But at least we're favored in every game but those 4 going into the year.
So we're pretty. I know they say that, obviously Gus and Mike are the same family, same coaching tree. So the offense is going to be, similar. We have a new offensive coordinator. We have a new defensive coordinator. I mean, we're running a new defense that goes away from Florida State University defensive scripture, right? Like we're running a a 3-5,
a 3-4, but that's not the
3-4.
primary.
Yeah,
It's not. It's not like that. Like there are going to be some 4-down linemen at times. It's going to be. He really is multiple.
Okay, so
it wasn't typical in Nebraska when he was there, but those were the same people that did 10-hour live streams when he left.
Just think how insane this is that we're pretty much installing all this new stuff in a make or break year. It's unbelievable.
And playing Alabama week 1.
What the hell is going on here? And how did we get here?
Playing Alabama week 1 is not exactly a type of game to, work out a new system.
Unbelievable.
I don't love that.
Yeah, no, they'll write books about this this fan experience. I mean, we all experienced the whole thing has been a trauma. You go back to the snub and then 2 and 10. It's just insane. And now let's go Bama. Come on down. Come on down to our new and improved Doak Campbell Stadium with a Club Live feature or something. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know. Maybe
we have a Club Live. But that's why I refuse to have any optimism going into the year, and not to be a negative Nancy. But after last year and getting so excited before the year, and
oh man,
and I'm just not gonna. It's just to show me either you got it or you don't.
Yeah. It's certainly.
When I heard about Jason Jenkins, that's the defensive transfer from Tennessee.
Okay. Which
I'm like is a real important piece. They're like, well, Mike was cryptic, and I don't think he'll be ready. I'm like, yeah. What else can go wrong? Like, I'm numb to it. Like at this point, after last year. Yes, I don't expect our transfer defensive lineman who might make an impact in the Alabama game to be available. Like. But I was critical last week, and I still will be. I don't love our strength and conditioning program.
Yeah.
I heard we made changes to it.
Okay. Coach, not a big fan of Coach Storms.
No, I think if we were training for the CrossFit, or if he wanted to go get a good body at Planet Fitness, like this is the guy.
Okay, gotcha.
But because I watched, listen, I understand it's a contact sport. I understand that linemen get hurt at a higher level because of the weight they carry and how they play. Like, I'm not naive to it. But our guys get hurt at such a higher clip than any other school.
Yeah.
And last year I was fortunate to go to other games outside of Florida State, and I watched their linemen play.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I didn't watch their players get hurt every time they got tackled like we did last year. Mike swears by him. Mike would run through a wall for Josh Storms.
Yeah.
I heard he brought in 2 new strength coaches to work specifically with the OL and DL.
Okay.
For whatever reason, it wasn't announced, but that's what I was told. It was on this live stream last week, so I can say it.
Yeah.
We'll see. All I'm hearing is, well, this guy's hurt and that guy's hurt, and this. I'm like, it's May.
I struggle to place blame on the strength and conditioning coach in relation to injuries. I mean, I hear you, I understand, and it's like, why is this happening? What's going on, and what can we do to fix it? Right. So I'm with you. But man, I don't know.
And if the kids aren't buying in and putting in the work there, it doesn't matter who you are as strength coach.
Yeah.
But I just saw such a drop off last year.
Most of the time, players get hurt just because they're maybe loafing or not playing through, finishing the play. Right. That's when guys usually get hurt.
There was a player that got hurt for the year, one of their best linebackers, and he admitted after the game, it was right before the half, I took the play off and got nailed.
Yeah. That's usually
it's actually bad effort can lead to injuries. That's not a Josh Storms problem.
It's usually when guys get hurt is when they loafing.
But I'm just not sold on him as a strength coach.
Yeah.
But Mike will never not have that guy as his strength coach. I mean, he was asked about him, and the look that Mike gave, I forgot who asked him, was like, "How dare you ask me?" And then he said,
"Let me ask you a question, Jeremy. Let me ask you a question. Why did we go 2-10 last year?"
I mean, we didn't have a 2-10 roster.
Okay.
I'll never understand. I've wondered this all off season. I'm not like a friend of ours. I won't say his name. Who gets madder about it every day as we pass it. I'm like over it. But I'll always wonder, like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
And I think the media is withholding stuff now because Mike's still here.
Yeah.
The one thing I had heard was the Moore Athletic Center did not handle it well, the snub. And the coach.
That's probably fair.
And I'm not making excuses about that. I heard that, and it showed in the way we recruited, the way we acted, the way our coaches did on the trail.
Yeah.
Everything wrong you could do about that. Like where Mike should have used that as fuel to, man, now you're getting the pissed off version of me, and hell is coming with it.
Right. Because it's unacceptable.
It was well, I've made it. We're there. We're 13-0. Whoever I get, I will make a star.
Yeah.
He didn't do his due diligence on players as much that he did before.
Yeah.
It just showed. It's funny when I don't know if I told you this or not. Bear with me. When I went to other games last year, I went to Texas, Clemson, Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
And when they knew I was a Knoll, I was waiting for them. Man, you guys suck, man. You 2-10.
Yeah.
Like you should be embarrassed. Like I was ready for it.
Yeah.
Ready to hold my head down and be like, yeah, you're right. None of them said that to me.
Right.
They all went, what happened? Like,
what the hell is going on?
What do you think was the reason? Like they couldn't they were like us. And they said, you're not a 2-win team.
Yeah.
They all said that to me. They said, was it coaching? I'm like, well, that was a huge reason. I said he trusted his assistants too much who failed him. I said, I said, definitely coaching, definitely the wrong players. Just things got bad in the beginning, and instead of turning it around, it got worse. But I was waiting for one person to say, dude, it might be years before you're good again. Dude, you guys suck. Dude, I was ready for it.
Right.
And none of them had that. They just said, you guys are going to be back. You just need to fix some stupid things that you did. I mean, it was cool to hear it from their perspective because as Knoll fans, we can be a little irrational because it's our team. But it was cool to hear it from their side. And this were Ohio State and Texas fans who it was cool to hear that. Clemson too, they were like, dude, you're not that bad.
Yeah.
Like one guy said to me, dude, I watched your team all year. And I didn't say to myself, well, now I can see why they're 2-10.
Well, you're going to hear from Clemson fans are going to say, you guys brought in the wrong guy. That's what Clemson fans are going to say.
About Mike?
No, about DJ. Which obviously, and as it, as
but we failed him too.
I know, but I think DJ, he looked like he was hurt to me.
He was hurt in the spring.
He looked hurt. He couldn't run. But you go back and look
that's on Mike. If Mike doesn't ever want to talk about injuries and they take the field, we're going to hold them to the standard they should play at.
Right. But is it fair to say that whatever DJ's hurt, didn't play well, whatever happened, they gave him $700,000. The rest of the team said, oh, hell no, I'm not doing this. You just gave this guy almost $1 million for this. We're out. That's kind of what it looked like, right? Like that's what it looked like.
I don't know, because DJ's a good guy. Like
seems like it.
Yeah, so I think
a nice guy.
Listen, DJ was brought in. Listen, all the stuff that Mike said was supposed to be the identity of our team and why DJ was there, none of that happened. Where Mike said we were going to be a power run team. We got the best offensive line I had since I've been here. So DJ was brought in that we had everything. He was the missing piece. And then we'd ask him to throw, 10, 15 times a game. When he was throwing 30, 35, 40, we knew it was this is not what we brought him in for.
And so now we fast forward and we have gone all in on the Gus Malzahn ability to scheme up the run game.
Yeah.
And we don't really have proven running backs. I mean, obviously the kid from Oklahoma has, put up some good numbers, but, he's coming off of an injury, right?
Well, that's how we recruit now.
And
if you weren't hurt in the previous stop, we don't tend to recruit you.
It worked out pretty well with what's his name from Mississippi, Oregon, Trey Benson. That worked out pretty well.
True, but he didn't play for half the year.
Right.
We got a lot out of him that he came back for his year after that.
So you look at the running back
But it did. You're right.
group. We got
Oh,
the guy from OU. We've got a true freshman,
who's not even who's just got on campus probably.
And I'm sorry, the kid last year, the freshman did not look good. He looked slow.
No burst. And listen, Barry Sanders could not have run behind that line last year.
Right. What's his name?
Cam Davis.
Cam Davis. Yeah, did not look promising.
Listen, if you had to go out and get the running back from Oklahoma, that means you didn't like what you saw.
Yeah. Come on, buddy. We need you. We need you bad.
So, but all spring we kept hearing, that room doesn't look great.
Yeah.
So that's why I wasn't surprised they went after a running back.
Yeah, Thomas Castellanos is going to run it 22 times a game.
Could be. I don't want to rely on him at his size. I want that to be a gadget that we can use in specific situations.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it is what it is. Is there anything you like going into the year? And you're not like me in certain ways.
I like change. I like the fact that there's been change.
Voices.
And I like the fact that a couple that we did, looks like we did run a few guys off.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I don't know. I mean, it's obviously all speculation. Who knows? But it seems like we kind of have a tough offensive line coach who told a couple of guys that they weren't good enough, or, we weren't going to pay you what you're asking,
right.
And some of those guys left, unfortunately. But, there's, we can, that's fine. Addition by subtraction, maybe.
Oh, I agree.
We probably needed to clean house. We needed to flip the locker room because, whatever the hell happened last year has to go immediately. So the only thing I'm actually excited about is the fact that there's been a lot of change. Now, whether or not they can pull it off, the cards are stacked against them.
I agree. The Alabama game is not going to be an indicator, win or lose. If we win that game, it's not going to say, "Oh man, we're back. Watch out for us this year." If we lose, it doesn't mean the season is going to be a wash. I don't think that game is the barometer for the season. It's a heck of a test, but it's not the barometer for the season.
Yeah, but
I'm not going to be told that we're back. Watch out, ACC. If we win that game.
But if you're going to ask me to choose, I would prefer we win.
I would too. Yeah, I would too. But I'm saying I won't use that as an indicator for the next 11 games.
Well, I think, we'll see what it looks like, right? Are we organized? Are we physical? Are we tough? Do we care? Because I think at this point, the measuring stick for this football program is, do they want to be out there?
I know. Exactly. A new coach coming here now. I mean, you don't exactly have like the highest of standards to hold up from last year.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like we're like, whatever you got to do, just do it. We know we were that bad last year. It's not like you're replacing a coach of a team that did really well and you got high expectations. We have no expectations. Just please do something.
So bad.
Make us look like a relevant, competent football team again.
Yeah. You go back to
asking for ever in year 6 with a coach.
Yeah. You go back to when you and I first met and stuff, and at Miami Seminole Club events and going to spring game and stuff. Obviously, you introduced me to one of my favorite all-time Noles, Sam Cowart, real nice guy. But that was a big moment for me. But you look at all those.
I would put up that picture.
Yeah. Awesome.
I've never seen you so speechless in my life, but please continue.
Hey, Sam Cowart was a bad man, right? But when you look at all those guys, the legendary Noles and stuff, those guys, that's the major takeaway from, talking and having conversations with a lot of those All-Americans and, Snoop and Peter Warwick and Sam Cowart. Those guys love Florida State University. I mean, they really are Nole-blooded. They give a damn. They care. And it's really important to them, which is why they were successful, right? Like that's part of it. Like you have to care and you have to give a damn, and those guys did, and that's why
they were so good back then. You had to sacrifice if you wanted to be out there.
Yeah,
if you were a receiver, you had to give up some catches and touchdowns to be out there.
So hopefully we can field a football team that gives a damn. That's
hard to get loyalty like those guys had. Those guys were each. I know those guys you mentioned were there for 5 years. We got some guys who are there for maybe 6 months now.
I hear you.
Not everyone's a Jermaine Johnson who comes in as a transfer for 6 months and just falls in love with the place and bleeds the place now, and I think still spends time in Tallahassee in the off season. That's just not it just doesn't exist these days. I'm hoping they change the rules. They're talking about rule changes. It shouldn't have had to come to this. That they're talking, just set the portal thing after the spring. So the guys don't have to transfer before bowl games. So they're there for at least a spring. And then if it doesn't work out after that, like hit the road.
What about a penalty? I mean, the old rule, right? You had to sit out a year.
No penalty if you transfer. If you have the one-time window after the spring,
you get to transfer once.
No. They haven't worked on that. That's where they really screwed up. I think the portals ruined the game more than NIL.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because I have no problem with one-time free transfer, make it count, make the right choice. As much as you want, there's some kids. You said it the other day to me. 4 or 5 schools in 4 or 5 years. And now they're changing it where if you go to junior college, 0 eligibility comes off your.
Then you come back,
the clock. I mean, you have so many 30-year-olds playing at this point. Like, so I don't get it. Like, how junior college doesn't count. Like,
it's so bizarre.
How do you know they won't go there as leverage now?
Yeah,
to get more money the following year.
If it's just going to be about money, I'm just really worried about the day that Harvard decides to care about college football. There's going to be a problem.
That's true.
Hey guys,
let's be in trouble. It's their backyard.
Let's make a couple of phone calls. We need to raise $500 million for the football team this year.
What we can have? Do you want a Venmo check? Do you want to?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's like SMU. SMU is in the ACC now with 0 TV revenue.
That's right.
They just wanted a place to be in that gave them a shot at the playoffs. We'll take care of the money. Don't worry about it.
Just want a chance.
Yeah, which is that. Texas schools are playing at a different level than Ohio State.
I'm trying to think about. Let's do
Texas Tech has coming to Florida State this weekend a $2 million softball pitcher.
Softball pitcher.
Hey, that's for a non-revenue sport.
That's insane. But here,
I don't know. Some schools it is a revenue. I don't know. I don't know about Texas Tech. It's not at Florida State. $2 million for a softball pitcher.
You mentioned SMU. SMU's on a short list of my all-time worst FSU losses. It's right up there with South Florida at home.
I was at Georgia last year. That was pretty bad.
Georgia Tech, Ireland.
I was at both those last year, Georgia, and I was at Georgia, the Orange Bowl. I was at Georgia Tech. That wasn't that bad. I've had much worse than that.
Georgia.
Notre Dame blowout, Willie's year. That was,
the Georgia game is kind of interesting, right? Because I think at the time, we were really quick to just gloss over it and say, we didn't have our guys.
No, I didn't say that. I just said we just didn't play well.
But I think it really was, indicative of some problems and
100%.
Things to come.
Good teams figure out a way to learn from mistakes and fail.
At least compete, right? At least compete.
Like people say, Ohio State lost to Michigan. Yeah, but they rebounded.
Yeah.
And did what they had to do to win the national title and beat teams better than Michigan. Yeah, trust me, they don't love having won a national title, having lost to Michigan.
Oh,
but I love how they recovered from it.
Yeah. Yeah. They, Ohio State is, they are rock solid. I mean,
Yeah, Ohio State and Texas are,
they're
and I guess
solid.
Miami to a degree.
Well, Texas has been horrible forever.
They were in the
But whatever.
semifinals last year.
I know, but I'm saying for a long time
Yeah, and they play week 1, which is interesting game.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, but Texas is spending 40, 50 million on their roster.
Yeah.
Good luck competing with them. And they have that money to spend every year. It's not like some schools that it might be like, all right, for a couple of years, we can put up stupid money.
Yeah.
That's why we got to get some type of rule, some type of something. People for so long wanted people paid, and I'm like, careful what you ask for. That's why they can make these rules now, but once you've opened Pandora's box, good luck.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to enforce it with 112 schools.
Yeah, the money aspect.
It's so much
of this
easier
whole
to pay people now with
such a beating.
Yeah,
it's such a beating.
Yeah,
it's so Texas, annoying.
It makes no bones about it. Like what they're doing, I don't mind. They're not breaking any rules.
Yeah,
I mean, I went to that Texas Clemson game, and you've probably been there. Like that stadium.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like, oh, the drone part's about to happen. The what?
Yeah,
and the drones. Their scoreboard is right the size of dome.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we're getting a new one. Who knows how big it's going to be?
Yeah.
I felt like my team played in a high school stadium compared to
them. In case we already have a professional football league in this country, I think it's doing pretty well. I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's doing okay.
I'm not sure if college football. No, we already have. I don't know.
But it's crazy as college football did this to themselves. It wasn't like things have gone wrong. Like there are fans that are just tired of the sport right now.
Yeah,
which is the first of my generation to have.
If I didn't have a Florida State flag in my house, I would be the same way.
Yeah, but when it finally hits viewership numbers and hits them in the important areas, they're going to have to make changes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to happen where, a player holds out on his team. Well, actually, it already did. Holds out on his team before a playoff game for money. Nico did it last year at Tennessee.
Yeah. It's insane.
I don't enjoy to watch it. I'm still going to watch it because I'm a nut and a diehard.
Yeah. Sure.
And I want to do this YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
And you and I just think we're wired as friends and Knowles to we're always going to be in the loop and talking about it.
Well, listen, Florida State, Florida State has given us so many incredible memories recently too. Okay. We have to we have to pump the brakes and realize that, it could be worse. We could be Texas Tech, we could be, Maryland,
Texas A&M.
And I was fortunate to be at, both LSU games, the Superdome, and Orlando. That was unreal.
But Orlando, you had more fun because you were.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no doubt.
I'm just kidding.
No, no offense, but I mean, the French Quarter beating.
Oh, I know. I was being sarcastic. But that game in Orlando, honestly, is a top 1 or 2 FSU game I've ever been to.
Yeah. What a football
because of you and another
friend
of mine who run the FSU tickets, I got to go to my two of my 3 favorite Knoll games ever. That year, Clemson and LSU.
That was not that long ago.
I know. Remember back in the 2023 days, Elvis? Oh, those were the good old days.
It was not that long ago.
It wasn't. That's why fans were saying to me, "What happened?"
What an incredible!
I was ready for a beating, man. I didn't get it from those fans.
I was in Tallahassee for a friend's wedding, and I stopped at a place and I had lunch, and Verse was there and a bunch of the other guys were there, and one of the servers walked by, and I was like, how are the guys nice? She's like, yeah, they're so such good guys, such good dudes, and she's like, and they're good tippers too. I was like, wow. That's cool. They're actually good.
We loved about the team. They were just such a likable group of guys. that 2023 team. There wasn't one guy that was starting on a team that we're like, all right, this guy's only here because he's good. Like a likable group. I mean, yeah, Jerry Verse was that type of guy. Trey Benson was that type of guy. Jordan Travis was that type of guy. Braden Fisk, Keon, all those guys. They were just a good group of dudes.
Yeah, and they, they should be celebrated in 10 years at halftime. They should bring them out. We're not going to hang a national championship banner or anything insane, but that team should be celebrated forever. That was
I'm always going to remember that team.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, no team had ever had happened to them what's happened to them. I think for historical implications alone, they deserve.
I thought as soon as the snub happened, I was reminded of what was it, 2001?
Mm-hmm.
When we went in over Miami and we had lost to Miami, at the Orange Bowl.
I remember. I was at
that. Yeah, so that was wide right. That was wide right 3.
Yeah,
and probably Miami deserved to go.
That's debatable because they judged you based on your season, not one game. We beat 3 conference champions that year.
Okay.
Miami, other than us, really didn't. They didn't play Virginia Tech with Michael Vick that they were supposed to. They got housed by a Washington team. So I didn't argue that. I really didn't, and I fought people on it.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Ending the year destroying Florida the way we did, and then Florida a week later wins the SEC title, really looked good. And it was a computer system then.
That's right. Yeah.
The computers crunched the numbers, and our numbers were better.
Yeah.
And it's up for debate.
But
I don't know if you saw today the new rule change about the playoff system.
What's that?
There's a rule change with the playoff system they implemented today.
Right. Yeah.
I think basically if the rules that they just put today were in place for last season, Texas and Penn State would have had a bye.
Oh, what a good idea! Last year was crazy.
I know.
It's so dumb. What the hell are we doing with our life? We need a new hobby, man. This is insane.
I know. It's like if I lose this, I better start to really watch some more hockey. That's the last sport I have.
Hey, John Pack, FSU All-American, is leading at the Colonial after the first round today in Fort Worth. That guy has a lot of promise, and good to see him doing good things. He was at FSU a couple of years ago and won every award there is to win, and he's the leader after the first round in Fort Worth. So Seminole fans, keep an eye on what's going on in Fort Worth this weekend. John Pack making a move.
That's right. He's such a diehard Noel that he's talking about that over his Dallas Stars locally.
Listen, I'm very fair weather. I like the hockey playoffs, but
I'll tell you that arena, you could hear how loud it got through the TV last night.
I don't know how to ice skate, Jeremy.
I can't skate either, but I just love the game.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And it's grown over time. It's not like something always been the case. I just love it. Yeah. We're gonna wind things down. I promise. Okay. Anything you want to add, promote, talk about, please? Like, I can't thank you enough for coming on. This was a blast.
Yeah, no, man, I appreciate it. I'm just excited to see what you've got going on. I see you hustling. Always try to support, and man, I'm thanks for having me. But check out worldsbestgolfdestinations.com.
I'm going to put the link in the description.
We cover golf through the lens of a traveling golfer. We go around the world and where to go, where to play, what to do, where to eat, where to drink and stuff. So, we have a team of, a couple of us that run it together. So, that's pretty cool. But, man, I'm honored. I love Florida State. And, I'm
sorry. I was going to say, and I meant to say this earlier, as diehard and big a Florida State fan as I know.
Well, hey, it's a really cool thing to be part of.
I've called you
I
before at
just
6 in the morning on a game day just to test you, and you answer, "All right, I'm ready. Let's go." Breaking
yeah.
down matchups. I mean, that's how big a fan you are.
We won't be down forever, and you know that we're very blessed to be part of such an incredible institution, and it's a special thing. So, and yeah, we're pretty lucky. So
I mean, I don't want to
it'll get better. We
Yeah,
won't be
listen,
down
I'd
for
rather
long.
lose a Seminole than win as any other fan base.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
And I say that with like all the pride.
No
Like
doubt.
I wouldn't trade being a Knoll even after 2-10.
Hell no. Yeah, no doubt.
But
Agreed.
thank you so much.
Yeah, man, my
You're as good
pleasure.
a friend as anyone can ask for. I'm going
Thanks,
to put
dude.
in your link.
Likewise.
We're going to be in touch because under 100 days now.
100 days. All right.
I think we're under 100.
We want Bama. We want Bama.
I'm worried about them. You're gonna come on as that game gets closer. We're gonna break that game down. I won't do a prediction because I hate.
Let's do it.
But
I'm gonna predict it right now. Florida State 45, Bama 3.
So that means we'll score more than we did all of last season.
All season, right there. Let's go, Gus! Woo!
All right, hey everyone, Elvis, thank you so much for your time. It was a blast. Man. He's gonna come back on more people, so get ready for that.
See you, bro.
And we'll be in touch. You and I, we talk every day.
Yeah.
All right, take care, everyone. Thank you.